welcome back to the channel. I had a bunch of stuff that I had to take care of over the past month or so. So it's time to dive into the compounds on the 12 valve, which I'm going to build them a side-by-side kit with the intention of going in the OBS. I don't know if you can see it, it's right outside. But I just want to put them in the second gen. Be fun to make a kit that I know works in the second gen and may or may not need a little fabrication, modification to fit in the OBS. Cross that bridge when it comes. But I want to do a start to finish video of installing compounds. So I'm going to preface with a prep video. So when I do get into actual fabrication of the compound setup, it'll be just fabrication and setting it up, like the specifics. It's going to be kind of a long-winded video, so that's why I want to break it up into two different ones. This is going to be just prep. So I'm going to do the killer dowel pin. I'm going to bump my timing. I'm going to take one of the batteries out, and I think that's about it. So I'm just going to kind of make room and do a couple things that need to get done. The timing cover, I'm going to do the gasket and seal, and I might powder coat it, I might not. I don't know. I don't want to do the seal and then want to powder coat it later and then have put a brand new seal in there. I'm going to bump the timing. I do have ARP studs, so I'm going to go to approximately 20 degrees or so. I need to look and see. This is a 160 P-pump, so 1995 automatic strands. I think it's probably 12.5 degrees. I need to look at the tag right now, but I'm gonna go up to about 20 degrees. I think that'll be a good all around. It's not super aggressive. It's not super soft. This isn't a daily driver. It's kind of like a weekend fun toy. So I'm gonna go ahead and just start pulling it apart and see what we gotta do. So let's get into it. All right, so I pulled out the radiator just to make some more room. I hate dealing with coolant. You can see how dirty that front main cover is. How dirty everything is, honestly. But it's a brand new radiator in here. Looks like there was a leak at some point. Fresh coolant, fairly good coolant since I bought it. I'll be doing a water pump too. And you guys can't really see right there, but this belt is pretty bad, and I got a belt to put on. And yeah, so this is a 12.3 degrees factory timing. I'm gonna bump it up to 20. So there's a good visual representation of how this belt is doing. All right, the fan hub is off, and there's a little trick. Just put a trash bag right there and start cleaning so you don't have to pick it up off the floor, so you don't step on it. Yeah, let's see if we can make this look a little bit better. This crank pulley looks okay on that side, but you can see it's kind of worn right there. A couple of little chips. I have this one that is in much better shape, but the diameter is much larger, so I would have to adjust the tack pickup, which I don't think is a big deal. I'm pretty sure it would allow for that. But I also checked, it is 50 thousandths clearance on that magneto. So a question everybody talks about is, where do the long ones go? Where do the short ones go? Obviously, pretty self-explanatory. You try and put a short one in a long hole and you'll get no threads. But here you guys go. Everywhere there's a long bolt sticking in there still, that's where the longs go. Everywhere there's no bolt, that means it is short. So it's easy as that. Well, if I had to guess, I'd say the killer dowel pin has been done, because that bolt had a fat ass stack of washers on there, and somebody's definitely been in this thing before. So any guesses? Nope. All right, so KDB is not tabbed. I went ahead and I have this at top dead center. Cam is pinned. Use some vice grips on this, it allows you to rotate it and push it in, and you jiggle it, you know it's in there. So the engine is completely pinned right now, top dead center. You can verify there is some play on number 1 rocker. Everything's good, ready to pop this off, advance the timing. But first, I think I'm gonna clean up that timing cover. All right, so I got my little hokey parts washer out. There's the case, pretty much clean, or the timing cover pretty much clean. Right, so I got the timing cover cooling down. That's in some forged charcoal. I pulled out the pin, and I kind of just marked just to make sure nothing moves. When I pop this gear off, I got the nut off. I threw the new balancer on, and I made a little pointer. I did some math, and I determined that 650 thousandths of an inch. Measure and then rotate this after I pull this nut off, or pull the gear off, and then we will set it to around 20 degrees timing. The Amazon puller, I just put a little bit of tension on there and then binked it with the ball peen, and that thing ejecto seated cuz and fucking popped off, and yeah, almost rolled onto my foot. And as the official garage shoe of OSHA, but everything's marked. I'm going to take off the barring tool and try and move this around counterclockwise, and then clean the shit out of this and put it all back together, and cross my fingers and cross my toes and hope it all goes. Dude, I guess I'd try and get this on video if I can, of me moving this, because this seems to be the most important part about moving this timing around. Where is my socket? Where is my socket? There is my socket. Now, Eric at HHK said counterclockwise, so let's do it, dude. And it is tight. Can I move it like this? Right there, right on the money. All right, so I just torqued the nut to 150 on my Harbor Freight torque wrench, and then I went by hand a little bit more, because yeah, it's kind of a very important part. You guys can kind of see how I struggled a little bit, because these factory crank pulleys have a little play back and forth, and I didn't have the nuts exactly tight. So when I turned it, there was a little play, and then it turned. So yeah, so what I did is I just went all the way back, reset it, and then brought it forward. So this should put me, with the amount of play that was in there, it might be about 1 degree variance. So this could be 20, it could be 18, or it could be around 22. I wouldn't venture to say it's anywhere further than that, but that's back on. I kind of just marked it so I know, and then I'm going to mark that hole. Kind of just, I always like to put paint marker on there, just so if anything does happen, I can open it up and see real quick. I did put a little sprinkle of red Loctite on there. It looked like the people that had had this before red Loctited the shaft of the pump to the gear, or yeah. So whether or not that helped, whether or not they had slipping issues, I'm not sure. But I'm gonna pull the crank pulley off, prep that surface, and start jamming this thing back together. And so hopefully we can get it fired today. Hammer and a punch. And you can see I peened the edges of that pin. And I'm also going to put a little tab on there with some red Loctite, and that will never harm anybody. That'll do. That'll do. So there's the timing cover. Got a OEM Cummins crank seal, new timing case cover. I've always had good luck with this Right Stuff. This is what I would recommend, and I heard these are hard to seal, so I went ahead and got this. But I'm gonna do a layer on the cover, lay this down, and then layer on the timing case also. And you kind of let it tack up and throw it together. So we should go get this on the truck. All right, so everything's back together except the radiator. I'm gonna leave the serpentine belt off, and hopefully it'll start up, and hopefully I didn't fuck anything up. So let's give it a shot. All right, so honestly, everything looks good. That new balancer looks nice and true. Doesn't appear to be wobbling around or anything. I got a new serpentine belt to put on and take it for a drive and see how it goes. And hopefully we'll have a little bit more power. And then once it's good, once I drive it and I prove that it's good, I'm going to take it outside and do like a thorough pressure washing. So yeah, so far, so good. Well, don't speak too soon. Look at that. New water pump has entered the chat. You guys can probably hear that. When I was putting the serpentine belt on, I heard it. So pop one of those on right now. All right, so just need to fill the coolant. Everything is back together. New water pump down in there. Serpentine belt's on. It's a shame I spent all that time on that cover and you can't see it. And as a whole, it still looks like shit, but this one isn't meant to look nice. I'm just going to do what I can do as I do the compounds, and then this is gonna go into that focus. Well, I went for a drive and it's still a slow diesel truck. But I don't know, it might have a little bit more pep in its step. It's really hard to tell. All in all, it was good. Timing didn't slip, you know. So far, so good. I need to top off the water and check the oil and then look for leaks, make sure nothing fishy is going on. And that'll about wrap it up for this video on the compound prep. I guess stuff I didn't cover is the fuel heater delete, and I don't know, insert something that I probably forgot right here, but I'll probably end up just doing that. And then next update will be actually throwing some tubes and getting the compounds fitted. I'm excited for that one because I don't enjoy mechanical work like this. I really love fabrication and turbos and all that fun stuff, but you know, with one comes the other. And yeah, thanks guys.